Aboru Aboye. Let's see if we can get some more light here. Oh yeah, that's much better. That's much better. Let me try this. Yeah. Oh, that's much better. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the School of Orisha Studies. Beautiful, beautiful Friday afternoon. We're enjoying the scenery, the sun. Spring has sprung, and we will share a brief lesson on control. Control. Ifa's got some great lessons on control and the illusion of control. Control is illusory, right? We dream about control. We fantasize about control. We think we really want control, but in reality, control is really, really, really hard to. It's difficult um, if you are unclear about what control really is, right? And if you understand control, what you really can't control, then it's easier and more manageable than if you are confused about uh, about control and you think it's something that it's not. Ultimately, you can only control yourself. Okay, this is a real core lesson. The only thing that you can really control is yourself, and it's the control over your body. You can control your body. You can learn to control your body. You can learn to control your schedule, right? So people who are um, experiencing the adversity of the quarantine are figuring out how essential it is to control your schedule. You can control what time you go to bed. You can control what time you wake up. You can control your diet. What you eat. You can control staying hydrated. All of those things are what's in your control, and that's the only things you can't control. You can control what you say. You can control how you feel, right? Those are all of the things that are within your control. Okay, and those are crucial, simple, moment-to-moment decisions that you have to make in order to demonstrate the extent to which you do have control. And if you accept that, then it's going to increase your happiness. It's going to increase your degrees of freedom. Because if you're trying to control other people, if you're trying to control the government, if you're trying to control the weather, you're trying to control what's going on in the supermarket, you're going to remain utterly frustrated and displeased and unhappy. Okay? And so Ifa has some real pivotal insights into how important it is for you to accept, number one, the things that you can control and to exercise control over those things first and foremost. Focus on that and leave the rest to itself. Now, if you look at it that way and you say, well, if the only thing I'm trying to do is control myself, then what's the point of consulting Ifa? Okay, because I can't control when I go to bed, when I wake up, what I eat, what I drink, how much rest I get, what I feel, how what I say. What's the point of consulting Ifa? Because once you really exercise control over yourself, then you're going to understand also the limitations of your control and the limitations of your influence, and you're going to consult Ifa so that you can understand what you can anticipate, what you can predict is likely to happen, and then prepare yourself to have what you need to meet the limitations of your control, right? So when you get to the edge of your control, that's where Ifa gives you insight into what you're going to need and how you're going to have to behave in order to have influence outside of your own limitations. So right now, when we're looking at the coronavirus, okay, one of the biggest concerns that people have is the effect it's going to have on their money, right? Because everybody's money is getting pinched right now. Major corporations are being pinched. Small businesses are being squeezed. Okay, employees at just about every level are really being constricted, right? And people are wondering what's going to happen. What's going to happen? How am I going to prosper in the face of all of this restricted movement and the loss of control? Okay, how am I going to make money? How am I going to prosper when I'm so out of control? I can't go to work. Okay, so there's a couple things that you're going to need to do. One thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to count your blessings. You're going to have to count your the people that are a part of your blessings. Start to go through your network of all the people who know who you are. They know your personality, they know your character, they know your value, they know your skill set, they know what you do, they know what you do well, right? So you start going through the list of all the people who know what you do and they know who you are. And you're going to start reaching out to those people because you can communicate with people. You may not be able to sit down with people and hang out with them right now, but you can communicate with them. So start communicating with people on your network. Start letting them know what you do, what you're looking for, right? What kinds of opportunities you're seeking, and what you're available for. Okay, that's really very important. You can control that. This is an investment. Okay, this is an investment, and this is within your circle of control, right? What else can you do here? When you also communicate with people, you can also you can appreciate them. You can offer them something. You can give them you know, a small incentive or a small recognition and appreciation for being in your network. Okay, so you it's like all the business deals happen on the golf course, they say. All the business deals happen in the clubs. They happen outside of the office. The office is where people come together and they pronounce the decisions and they make the public announcements of what we've been talking about behind closed doors anyway. So you're gonna let people know that what's in it for them. When you're networking with people right now and you're talking to people on your network, you're also letting them know that, hey, I'm going to offer something to you, right? I got something for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This is what I have to, make it worth your while to be passing on my name and my talents to people in your network. Maybe it's something as simple as I'll reciprocate, right? Here's my information, pass it on in your circle. When you give me your information, I'll pass it on in my circle, and we can see how we can help one another out. Okay, that's another piece of the equation. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. So let me tell you where I'm coming from with this. There's a verse of Ifa that comes out of the holy Odu of Okanran Sode. Okanran Sode. Okanran on the right and Ogbe on the left. And in Okanran Sode, Ifa tells about the time when Orunmila and the 200 divinities were coming from heaven to earth. And when they were coming to heaven to earth, they were tasked with this great mission of settling the earth. And so they did. And you say, there, you see what I'm doing? They came to the earth and they settled the world. And once they settled it, they found that the world was kind of desolate. There were no marketplaces. There were no thriving exchange centers of exchange. It was just like inertia. All the elements were there, but they weren't moving. Okay, they weren't interacting with one another. And since they weren't interacting with one another, then there was no prosperity that was being generated. Economics is the physics of money. Economics is the physics of money. Physics is motion, right? And economics is how money moves. It's currency. And so you've got to have equations. You got to calculate how people are going to move in around, in between different circles in order to track the money. Okay, this is why I say economics drive culture. How you make your money is going to determine your lifestyle. How you make your money is going to determine who you interact with. How you make your money is going to determine what your values are. All right. So economics is the physics of money, and economics drive culture. So when the divinities came to the world and they settled it, there was no economics. There was no economy. Right. The resources were all there, but there was no interaction, no movement between the different groups. And so the divinities went back and they complained to Olodumare. He said, Olodumare, we're down here and, we're kind of waiting, but there's no movement. There's no money. And so Olodumare said, okay, this is what you should do. You should go and you should see Orunmila. You should consult Ifa. And when you consult Ifa, Ifa will tell you what is necessary. So all the divinities went to consult Ifa. They sat with Orunmila. Orunmila said, oh, okay, what we're going to have to do is we're going to make sacrifice. And the sacrifice is going to be like foods, akara, moi, sugar cane, finger foods, snacks. Egbe people will recognize what this is all about. These are all different offerings that you give to Egbe. Soda, soft drinks, stuff like that. You're going to accumulate all that, and that's going to be your sacrifice. So they listened to Orunmila, and he said, this is what's you're going to find prosperity after you make the sacrifice. So after the consultation, all of the divinities huddled up, and they said, how is that little sacrifice of snacks and finger foods going to make a difference? Basically, Ifa said we should get cupcakes and Snickers and Coke and Fanta and 7-Up and we should make that as a sacrifice. How's that going to create prosperity? This little stuff. So they decided we're not going to make that sacrifice, and they refused to do it. Right, and especially because in the consultation, Orunmila also told them that there is a treasure chest. All you guys got to go do is go back to Olodumare, and you're going to ask him for access to this treasure chest. And you'll be able to take these treasures from heaven to earth, right? So the divinities were like, if we know where the treasures are, and we know that that's all we have to do is take it back to the earth, why are we going to make that sacrifice? So they refused to do it. Only Orunmila made the sacrifice. He made the akara, he made the moi, he got the sugar cane, he got the soft drinks, he got everything. He packed it up and made it like a big picnic basket. And he took it to the Babalawos. The Babalawos consecrated everything, and they took off half of everything that Orunmila had offered. And they said, Orunmila, you're going to carry this half with you in your bag. All right. So when you go and you gather the treasure and you're on your way to earth, back to the earth, you're going to bring all of these things with you. And so Orunmila did as he was told. He made the sacrifice. He took his half of the sacrifice, and he made his way to the treasure chest. He gathered up a portion of the treasure like all of the other divinities did, and he made his way to the earth. Now, the divinities were ahead of Orunmila. They had a head start. And so as they were on their way, they met what looked to be like a troll on the side of the road. And this troll on the side of the road stood right there in the middle of the road, and he threatened all of the Orisha. And anybody who tried to contest this troll, he would beat them down and scare the life out of them until they gave him their treasure. So one by one, all of the divinities gave their treasures to this troll on the side of the road, until it came to Orunmila's turn. Orunmila got to the troll, and he saw him there. And I'm sorry, there was one part that I missed in this story. Orunmila also was told to sacrifice a drum. He had to bring a drum with him on the journey. So Orunmila gets to this troll on the side of the road, and he gives the troll the food. First, he gives the troll the akara, and the troll is so happy. He's like, oh, nom, 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 nom. This is great. Then Orunmila gives him the moi, and then Orunmila gives him the sugar cane, and Orunmila gives him the first soft drink and the second soft drink. So basically, Orunmila is just like feasting this little goblin on the side of the road. And the goblin is so happy, and when Orunmila could see that, he was just like, tapping his feet. People, when they get their little food, they just get happy. So he starts tapping his little feet. He's so happy. Then Orunmila broke out the drum. He started playing the drum. the little troll starts dancing. His little belly is full. He's happy. He's drinking. He's dancing. Orunmila starts singing for him. So he's having a little party on the side of the road. Just then, Eshu comes out, and Eshu takes the drum from Orunmila, and he starts really wailing away, just like bringing the energy higher, higher, and higher. And while the troll is just in ecstasy, Eshu looks over to Orunmila and he's like, hit it. Now's your time. Take out all the treasure and go. So Orunmila took his treasure and all of the treasure of the other divinities, and he came into the world. And this is how Orunmila came to the world, with not only his treasure, but with the treasure of all of the divinities as well. Ifa is advising us to firstly exercise control over ourselves. Do the things that you can do, right? Manage yourself first and foremost. Seek out wisdom and guidance and direction. And when you get directions, you take that direction. But the goblin on the side of the road is what we call the detractor. That detractor, if you don't control yourself, that detractor has the capacity to shut you down, right? It's an emblem, it's an icon, it's a symbol for all the people, okay? It's not just concentrated in one detractor. It's all the people that are in your network. If you appease them, if you take care of them, if you communicate with them, you can make them comfortable, they're going to take care of you. But if you refuse to do that, if you only think of the fact that you got something, you think that you got something, you're only focused on what you think you have, then the people who could be your supporters will be your detractors. But the people who are your detractors can also be your supporters. All right. So in this time of the quarantine, I want to invite you to start networking. If you're not networking already, now is the time to network. Start going through your list. Start thinking of all of the people who know what you do. Start thinking of all the people who know who you are. They know what you bring to the table. They know your talents. They know your abilities. They know your experiences, and let them know, hey, this is where I am, and this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Can you help me out? And hey, I'll help you out too. I'll do for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Okay. And you're going to see that when the quarantine is over, some people will go backwards and some people will go forward. I want you to be amongst the people who go forward. You have that ability, you have that capacity, but make that investment by firstly getting control over what you can actually control. That's ground zero. All right. Don't be over zealous about trying to control things that are outside of your reach. And then once you've done that, then you want to start tapping into your network, and you want to get as many people on your network to buy into your potential. Okay, so stated another way, what you're doing is you're looking at the treasure as your natural gifts and talents. That treasure is your natural gifts and talents. The inertia of the world is where we are right now. This is the quarantine where it looks like everything is coming to a standstill, but the resources are still there. It's not like some natural disaster has struck. Think about it. It's not like oh my God, there's no rice. Oh my God, there's no water. Nothing has happened. There's no natural disaster has cut off our resources. The money hasn't disappeared. It's not like there's something that has, depleted our gold supply or nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. The only thing has happened is that inertia. Things have come to a standstill. It's a pause. It's a pause. Start tapping your network. In that pause, you can control when you go to bed, when you wake up, what you eat, how much water you drink. You can control what you think. You can control how you feel. You can control who you communicate with. So start tapping your network. Start talking to the people who know who you are, who know what you do, and start building. Start creating opportunity for you and for them. This is your golden opportunity. Ifa is predicting huge wealth, huge prosperity for the people who are willing to make the sacrifice. All right. When you see that troll on the side of the road that's threatening everybody, right? That's the fear. The uncertainty, right? That's making people, give over their treasure. They're giving their natural gifts and talents, or they're giving the authority of their natural gifts and talents over to someone else. Where Orunmila is not doing that. Orunmila is saying, wait a minute. Let me give you something. Let me give you a little sweetness, a little treat, something that will make you happy. And then I'm going to please you. I'm going to play music for you. I'm going to have you singing and dancing. I'm going to make you really comfortable. And in the process, then Orunmila was able to seize all of the resources from the other divinities and bring those to the world, which meant he had control over the market. He had control over all of the resources that would make the market move. Okay? So mark my words. The people who are willing to do this 30 days from now, you're going to be happy. You're going to be moving forward. You're going to be progressing. And the people who don't, they'll be coming to you to pay you for your services. All right? So that's the word for the day. I hope it's meaningful to you. If you got any questions, please feel free to add them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to follow up with you. Aboraboye. Aboshishe.